Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time, I think, is a pretty crazy one. I hope you enjoy it. Now, before we jump into it, I just want to say again, I'm dropping a song on August 2nd. It's called Waste My Life. I think it's a pretty cool song. I hope you guys enjoy it. And if you want, I'm going to put the pre-save link in the description. If you pre-save it, tweet me or tag me on Instagram because I'm trying to follow as many people back as I can that pre-save it up until August 2nd. So yeah, tweet me or tag me if you do. Anyway, to the video now. This story time takes place a year ago, okay? Now, I have this friend. It always starts like this. I have this friend, all right? Let's just call this friend Corey, okay? Now, Corey, he's a pretty chill dude, but Corey was obsessed with cars, specifically fast ones, okay? Now, the car that Corey drives is some Subaru that he bought and then modded, so it goes pretty fast. So about a year ago, me and Corey were hanging out pretty frequently, and he'd always pick me up in his car, and we would just drive around, listen to music, and go do whatever we felt like doing. And it was dope, right? Now, the problem with Corey's car is because it went so fast, and because he loves fast cars, he would always speed. Now, don't be like Corey. Don't speed. Now, the most ironic part about Corey having a speeding problem when he would drive is his dad was a cop, like a pretty well-known police officer in our area. And he would always tell him, Corey, stop fucking driving that car like it's a race car. Like, this isn't NASCAR. Just drive where you need to go and go the damn speed limit. There's no excuse to be going as fast as you are. And you're probably wondering, Austin, how did he know that Corey was speeding? Well, like I said, Corey's dad was a cop, and anytime a police officer would see Corey speeding, they would look up the plate and find out that it was Corey, and his dad had the same last name, so they'd send it to his dad, and his dad would yell at him. So even though his dad would always yell at him, Corey never listened. And now starts the story time, basically, okay? One night, me and Corey, about a year ago, are driving around at like 2 in the morning, listening to music. And he was actually being pretty good. He wasn't speeding or anything. He knew I hated that shit. But eventually we got to like the country area of our town. And that's where there's just, nobody on the road, especially at 2 in the morning. And of course, he starts flooring it. And immediately I tell him, I'm like, Corey, stop. You're either going to eventually get into an accident or a cop's going to see you speeding and you're going to lose your license. Because he wasn't speeding a small amount. Like, he was going dangerously fast over the speed limit. So he replies to me. He's like, dude, relax. You're bugging out. Like, I wasn't even going that fast. I'm like, dude, I don't care. I don't like that shit. Can you just please stop? He's like, fine, whatever. Like, be that way. And I'm like, whatever, man. So he slows down a bit and we're driving down this road. And the speed limit's 45, okay? He's going 60. So he was still speeding. It wasn't as fast as he was going before, but he was still speeding. So I was just hoping that we didn't cross paths with a police officer, because I knew that on a night like this where nothing's happening and it's 2 in the morning, we'd be bound to get pulled over. And of course, fast forward 15 minutes, and I see a black SUV following closely behind us with sirens on top of the car. So of course I know it's a police officer. I look over at him. I'm like, dude, look behind us. And he's like, fuck. I'm like, they haven't turned their sirens on yet. They might not pull us over, but slow the fuck down. He's like, I am. And he slowed down to the speed limit, and we're driving very carefully now because he didn't want to get pulled over. And sure enough, the lights flash on because it was too late. Like, when the police officer pulled up behind us, my friend was still speeding. So, yeah, he flashed his lights on, and my friend, I'm thinking he's going to pull over to the side of the road, right? Like, I don't think he could do anything else other than pull over. Nope. My friend kicks it into high gear and floors it. Now at this point, I'm fucking terrified. Because not only is my friend going extremely fast, like over 100 miles an hour, down this dark country road, but now we're in a police chase. Like, I literally feel like I'm in GTA at this point. So I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, what's about to happen? Because I really only had 2 outcomes in my head. One, my friend drives us into a ditch because he goes too fast and we spin out or something. Or 2, the police officer finally catches us, and we go to jail. So I'm terrified, right? Because I didn't want that to happen. I just wanted him to pull over like a fucking normal person, take the ticket, and go. So, of course, I'm trying to tell him, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, your dad's a cop. Like, just pull over. Like, take the ticket. You're making this worse for yourself. He's like, dude, just shut up. Let me focus. I'm like, dude, focus on what? Like, what are you doing right now? He's like, dude, I'm getting away from this shit. I don't want to lose my license. And I was like, dude, you probably weren't going to lose your license, but driving like this right now away from the cop will definitely heighten your chances of losing your license. He's like, dude, just shut up. And he speeds up even faster. And at this point, I'm terrified because we're in the middle of a dark country road, driving super fast, and there are so many deer out there at night. Like, all it takes is one deer running into the road to fuck up our entire night and possibly hurt somebody bad, if not worse. So I'm freaking out inside, and I'm having a panic attack. And behind us, the police officer was actually pretty far away. My friend's car was going extremely fast. So my friend gets so ahead of the cop, he turns his lights off, my friend did, and then he makes a turn down another country road, and he parks behind a car and shuts the car off. That way, it looks like the car is off and parked, and that, we're not the car that the cop is chasing. So, of course, a couple moments later, the police officer turns down the same street that we did, and he's driving up to our car, and I'm thinking, like, okay, please let the cop pass us. Like, please let him pass us. Like, last thing I want to deal with right now is going to jail. And even if I don't go to jail, like, I don't want to watch my friend go to jail and then just be in the middle of the country with no ride. So I'm looking, and in the mirror, I see the police officer pulling up, and it honestly looked like he was about to just drive by and, like, not notice us. But of course, he recognized the car, and the police sirens flick on and the lights flick on, and the cop pulls his car right in front of ours. That way my friend can't start the car and drive away super fast. And my friend's like, oh shit. And before he could even react and turn his car on, the police officer's door swings open, and it's none other than my friend's fucking dad. And at this point, I'm like, what are the odds, yo? Like, out of all the cops in the area, the one working the night shift that happens to pull us over is my friend's dad. Not just pull us over, that happens to get into a police chase with his own son. And I was wondering too the whole time, like, I wonder why there's not a bunch of backup helping this guy catch us. And the second I saw that the police officer was his dad, that's what made me realize, like, oh, that's why he didn't call backup. This dude was determined to catch his own son himself. And I can't even put into words the look on his face. He looked so pissed off. And my friend's face was a whole different story. That shit was priceless. My friend's face looked like you just told him the saddest news he'll ever receive in his life. He looked so upset and shocked. Like, I actually think he blacked out. So yeah, my friend's dad runs up to the car, opens my friend's door, and pulls him out of the car and cuffs him. And then goes, Austin, get out. I'm like, all right. And I get out of the car, and I sit down on the hood, and I just watch my friend's dad scream at him in handcuffs about how he could have seriously injured himself or seriously injured me or somebody else on the road, and that he's getting his car taken away for months, and that him running away was the dumbest thing he could do. Like, if it was any other police officer, he would have went to jail. And yeah, he had a point. Like, honestly, all the things he was saying were pretty true. But anyway, what ended up happening was Corey's dad unhandcuffed him so that Corey could drive me home. And his dad followed us the entire way to my house. And then after that, he followed Corey all the way back to his house. And when they got home, his dad took his keys and went right back out to work. And Corey was stuck at home for 2 months without the car. Which honestly, when you think about it, that's not really that bad of a punishment considering he could have actually lost his license and went to jail. So yeah, moral of the story is, don't be like Corey. Don't do that ever, ever, ever. Seriously. But yeah, I thought the story time was crazy, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below, and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys all later. Peace.
I can't play the sidelines, really sing these flaws of mine. Tea leaves help my thoughts align. I need to let go. Open doors like suicide, keeping me from living life. Tea leaves help my thoughts align.